Well, Pakistan and India exchanged fire across their border overnight. Islamabad launched a military operation into India using missiles. New Delhi responded with reciprocal strikes against targets in Pakistan. Now, the first phone call between the two nations had reportedly taken place this morning. That's according to an Indian channel, CNN News 18. Separately, the Pakistani foreign minister and the Indian military have both said that both sides will consider non-escalation if the other agrees to stop here. Well, the US's top diplomat, Marco Rubio, has spoken to the head of the Pakistani army while offering American assistance in constructive talks. And the Chinese Foreign Ministry has expressed its concern over what's happening and offered to help to try to defuse the tension. Well, police in Indian-administered Jammu say 5 people were killed there following the strikes by Pakistan. India's military claims Pakistan targeted medical and educational facilities in Kashmir. Let's get the latest from New Delhi. We'll speak to our reporter there, Neville Lazarus, in a moment. But first, we'll go to Lahore and bring in our Asia correspondent, Cordelia Lynch. And Cordelia, last hour you told us that the Foreign Minister of Pakistan had suggested that if it stops here, India stopped here, then they would reciprocate. Where are we now and what is the sense?
Well, I don't think there's been any significant shift since then. And this is ultimately a game of trust at a moment when trust is at a very low ebb indeed. I'm currently in Badapur. This is the last town before the border with India. It's about 5 kilometres from where we stand. It's been interesting gauging opinion here. I think people see this as an anxious moment, but they've been here before too. They don't see an all-out war as likely. They are, though, frustrated by India's actions, and they believe that Pakistan needs to act. It's a point of national pride, they say. I think what we're hearing from Pakistan's foreign minister is an attempt, possibly, at some kind of olive branch, an outreach to New Delhi to say, if you stop carrying out missile strikes now, we will consider de-escalation too. But I don't think we can bank on that, because it was a flurry of strikes that took place this morning that will have angered India. Strikes on some of their military facilities. Now, Pakistan is suggesting that they were very damaging indeed. New Delhi refute that. Both sides claiming they're acting in self-defense. Both sides also claiming that they are handling this appropriately, that they don't want to take it further. But the more that there is this tit for tat, the more scope there is, of course, for miscalculation. Now, I think what we've learned in the past few hours is that the international community is increasingly stepping in because it's increasingly worried. So the United States, we've seen the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio speaking with both sides, talking to the head of Pakistan's all-powerful military. That is the man that is really pushing through this action, and someone that the US know that they need to keep the channels of communication up with. I think the UAE, Iran and China are also critical players in all of this. We have seen this pattern of strikes in the morning, then retaliatory strikes at night. It is hard to imagine from this moment where I stand that New Delhi won't want to respond to what has occurred this morning. But it's too early to call anything. We know that all-out war would be a huge risk for both sides, that there is a lot for both to lose. But they also want to be able to claim victory. So where is the bookend for each side? When can they bring this to a close and be satisfied with what they've done? I don't think we're there yet, but the next 24 hours are going to be critical.
Certainly will. All right, Cordelia, for now, thank you for that. Well, let's go to New Delhi and bring in our India reporter, Neville Lazarus. Neville, great to have you with us. What's the sense from India?
Well, at the moment, we haven't heard of any confirmed information about from the government or the foreign ministry of out here of any phone calls between the two countries, as was suggested earlier. But nevertheless, we did have the foreign secretary a few moments ago saying that all actions by Pakistan is provocative and escalatory. Now, the only statement that we've heard from the foreign minister in India on his phone call with the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, in which he said India's approach has always been measured and responsible and remains so. We've heard in the last 15 minutes there's been explosions taking place in Srinagar. It was the airport in Srinagar was hit in some sort. We don't know the exact details of that hit earlier in the morning, but yes, it was hit. It is also a defense airport. There's been a red alert also in some of the cities in Rajasthan, in Barmer, particularly, which borders Pakistan. Now, this is much further south of Kashmir, the Rajasthan border, across the international border in India. But there is still a lot of tension. We've seen these overnight missile and several armed drone attacks that the Indian military has said there was. Most of these were neutralized, though they have said that 4 air bases where some sort of equipment damage and personnel and to personnel has taken place. Details they have not yet given, but nevertheless, it is a claim, counterclaim, tit for tat that is going on, and certainly there is escalation. The foreign secretary saying that they have seen troop movements by Pakistan towards the border. Now that is and that is the intent. It just shows the intent of Pakistan. This is what they mentioned in their briefing. But there is certainly a lot of tension. The Prime Minister is meeting his national security advisor. Earlier on, the Defense Minister had a series of meetings with with the chiefs of the Army, Air Force and Navy. India keeping very vigilant of what is taking place, and they've always said that they will respond to any escalatory maneuvers and hostile movements from Pakistan. But there is a lot of back-channel phone calls from leaders of different countries, including America and Saudi Arabia, in the last hour between the foreign minister and other leaders in the country here in India.